Okay. Look at that. Here we are. I hope that this successfully made it live without the aid of Rob, because faceless Rob is not on here with us.
It's
So
on.
it
It's
is
over.
on.
It's I'm looking at YouTube right now and it
Hey
says it's
everybody.
on.
Okay, good. Well, that puts my mind at ease. I really appreciate that. Actually, no kidding. Okay, so here we are. I'm Keith Malinak, your host here for At the Mic, and I'm here joined by my friends Brad Staggs from thedailymojo.com and Zeynep Yenisey. You see her handle right there for all things Zay. Hey, that kind of rhymed a little bit. I like
All
that.
things say.
Yeah,
It
there we go.
did.
So, in just a moment, we'll be joined by Ashton Forbes, who we have quite a bit to talk about with. Because if you will recall, it was about 2.5 weeks ago we did an episode with him. And Brad, I know you've talked to him as well on your channel. And it's just a
Yep.
fascinating theory of his. And I'm going to kind of just let me just kind of reset everything, and then we'll bring Ashton in here, and I'm just going to turn it over to him. And hopefully, if I get anything wrong, he can quickly correct me here. But just X Ashton is where you can find him. I know he's got a YouTube channel. That's where I know him from Twitter. And he seems like a genuine guy. And I believe him. I believe everything that he has said with this story. And Brad, I know you feel kind of the same way.
I do.
I'm not putting words in your mouth, because you and I talked offline about him, and we just believe him and his theory on Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, which went missing in March of 2014, vanished practically without a trace.
10 years ago.
It's stunning. And this guy is Ashton. He's pursuing the truth, trying to find out, because there was, if you didn't see the video that he shared with us, the couple of videos a couple weeks ago, I'd encourage you to go back and watch that. But he found these and did lots and lots of exhaustive research. The man has put so much time and effort into this, and I really do honestly feel bad asking him to talk about it yet again. But
well, he's been frustrated lately, though, too, because of the dude that came forward with the supposed background.
Right. And that's what we're going to talk about here. Because over the weekend, we did a live stream and we said, oh, my goodness, it looks like Ashton is saying that maybe this whole thing has been debunked. And to quote Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. So, again, a great resource back on November 22nd, the 90-minute interview we did with him. He made a very compelling case, and then more information has recently come out. We're going to have him address that. It involves a picture on the internet, so I'm going to bring up, without further ado, the guy that we want to talk to, Mr. Ashton Forbes. Man, are you getting any sleep whatsoever? Seriously.
Yeah, we're getting some sleep out there. Hey, guys. Hey, Keith. Hey, Brad. Hey, Zeynep. Hey. How's it going? How are you doing? Nice to talk to you all.
Welcome back, Ashton.
Good to be here. I'm as tired as you feel, probably.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you've been busy. I know you've been just absolutely. I guess I don't think it's a stretch to say you have been under assault, so to speak, here on the internet in recent days. And I'm going to just turn it over to you. And I know myself, Brad, Zay, we're probably going to have some questions along the way. But, brother, what's it been like for you the last couple of weeks?
I mean, I don't know. I think people overestimate or underestimate my resilience in terms of that kind of stuff. I really don't think about the detractors like ever. So it may look different from the outside perspective than it looks for me. But for me, it's just going to another day and, doing my normal job and then working on MH-370 stuff and, doing some streams related to it, and I think that with respect to what's happened recently, just for a recap for people, I think it was Friday night. Like I was actually getting ready for sleep. And then Friday night, this cloud debunk came out there and I didn't give it much attention that night. It seems like every debunker stayed up all night to try to tap dance on my grave and proclaim victory and what have you, which seemed really weird when I woke up and read it all. And this is where, like, initially I looked at it too and thought, well, wow, these clouds do look exactly like the clouds we have in our satellite video. And the reality is that, contrary to popular belief, I am not married to any particular position related to this case. It just happens that the videos in question here that seem to show MH-370 corroborate the real events of the plane and what happened with the mystery of it disappearing. And that the list of requirements to fake these is so extensive that it rules out almost anyone from having faked it, unless it's some sort of state actor or dedicated studio that is producing them. So, initially, I actually, to some degree, regret making the statement that I made right afterwards. I felt a little bit pressured into that, especially by, the biggest supporter that we had, Kim.com, out there, who put up initially the $100,000 bounty. I think that he is somebody who at least initially had his, came up with some pretty great ideas, including the bounty, which I had not, I didn't tell him to do that or anything like that. But, I don't know that he necessarily has seen, is this connected to all of the evidence and everything out there is like I am, or some of the other investigators that were related to it. And so right after that, I talked to this person that found they didn't find the pictures. What happened was they were emailed from an anonymous email account that, here are some images we found of that you took, go look at them.
Weird.
And this person makes a video right afterwards without even looking into the case or anything, like debunking the video with these images. And, I talked to them with Kim.com, talked to them initially. I mean, I grilled them pretty hard initially because I was very skeptical of what was going on, but couldn't find anything like that was super alarming, other than the fact that I just asked a question like, do you know the corridor crew? Because these guys have been putting me under fire for weeks. They are extremely upset about me refuting their false claims. And they tried to, trap me in an interview with Danny Jones. And I know that Danny had set that up because he was giving me smiles the whole time, that they thought for sure they were going to debunk it. And then I know they got angry when I was able to refute every single thing they said. They made another video after that where they just they couldn't recreate the videos at all. They couldn't even recreate 5 seconds of the video. And instead they sat there and tried to make fun of me. So I know that these people are emotionally invested in trying to take me down, which really then started to make me skeptical, because this guy knew the corridor crew for 15 years, came up in the game with the corridor crew.
Oh, really?
And then the person who found these supposed images, also the whole impetus, they just admitted this on the internet. The impetus for them to find the images was because of the video of me refuting the corridor crew. So everything seems to lead back to these corridor crew guys. In fact, they actually are, it's kind of a situation where boy cries wolf, where these guys have actually in the past posted fake stuff like this with fake metadata, fake videos in order to fool people and do hoaxes on the internet. And so the more I thought about the situation in the day after, in the last, few days now, the more it didn't really add up. And one thing that this person told me when we were talking to them, I was actually Kim.com and I were both talking to them. Kim.com offered them $10,000 if all they had to do was sign a statement, an affidavit that said that, everything they're saying is true, blah, blah, blah. And they actually rejected that yesterday. And now, as of just about an hour ago, they now have changed their mind, because they probably realized how bad that looks to reject such a simple statement. Who's rejecting $10,000 just to sign a statement saying that you're not lying?
Right.
Not me. I would take it in a heartbeat. So, now I think they've realized how bad that looks. And now they're trying to flip their position on that. But the reality now is that offer is probably off the table at this point. And, Kim.com came out saying that he thought the videos were fake. So we're no longer aligned on that front anyway. I don't even have a way to get in contact with the families. They've never reached out to me. I don't know how one person would even give this money to the families, even if they wanted to. I mean, what are you going to do? Divide it up between whatever? How many family members? How's that even going to work? Right? There's no way to do that. So, I don't think this person's somebody who thinks very clearly before they make decisions, unfortunately. And that's the same thing they did when they made this debunk video from an anonymous email that they shouldn't have ever done. Right. If you're not committed to a situation and you don't want to be involved in it, then don't get yourself involved in it. If somebody anonymously emails me and is like, hey, here's some content that you made and it's being used in some way, I'd say, well, here's the content. Go do with it whatever you will. Leave me out of it, right? I don't directly get myself involved. And when I talk to this person as well, You know, not only were they not familiar with the case, not only did they not review the videos that I told them to look at that rule out 2D assets being used, they also expressed to me that they thought this was a hoax that might be damaging or hurting to the families. And when I told them, how could this hurt the families that literally got no explanation, they seemed a little bit taken aback with it. And I think that that's the thing about this fake compassion argument that people make, is that like it doesn't have any weight. You're saying that, oh, this stuff can hurt the families. Guys, they didn't get any answers. There is no official narratives that we don't know what happened to the plane. That's the actual official statements, is that nobody knows. And the family members are still literally fighting as of last week to sue and try to get the answers and reopen the case because they haven't got anything. So
they're in court in China now. China has opened the case, right?
And if these videos are true, then the correct location for this court case is the United States of America, because it implicates the United States government and disappearance of the plane. So, you know, because I sat through all this, we actually, so one of the things that the person whose pictures these are supposedly.
Wait, sorry, before you go on, Ashton, can you just, for anyone who might not be familiar, what is in the debunk videos? Like, what is it saying exactly?
Yeah, so they're saying that somebody who has an anonymous person on Reddit with a 6-day-old account.
I love that. I mean, that tells you everything you need right there. But go ahead.
Looking on the websites for cloud pictures and somehow comes across these obscure website and finds some pictures that I don't know how they're able to look at them and go, oh, these must be the clouds, because they're actually like are inverted and, you know, resized and what have you. Oh, these must be the clouds that are in this satellite picture. And supposedly within 20 minutes, we're able to find this, which is completely ludicrous. There's no chance of that. Like, I looked at it even after getting the download of the raw files. I still couldn't even figure out which image is the right one and which clouds are the right one that would even match. So to me, you know, the more I thought about it, it was like, wait, this doesn't make any sense at all in terms of how somebody would have found this. The person whose pictures they really were, even in their debunk video, can't even find the images on the website. So some random person did this, right?
Right.
Right. So just real quick, what I want to say as well before I forget is that, so we talked to this person whose images they are, and they mentioned something because they were asked, like, you know, could we figure out how many people downloaded these images from the website, right? Especially within the date ranges required, right? And then they immediately get kind of defensive about, well, that'd be private information. And it's like, well, not really. We're just asking how many people. We don't care about the names of all the people that were doing it, right? Although that might come up in the future. And then they said, oh, well, they used to get pirated all the time. So they might have pulled it off of a torrent somewhere. And then I went, oh, Eureka. If there is images, then we should be able to find the torrents ourselves, and those images should be on there, right? So we found 2 torrents. My community, as well as somebody independently, found another torrent. The images are not in those torrents. We've looked. So the question now is, why are these images not in the torrents? We've looked at the Wayback Machine from. Here's the other thing that's weird. This website was changed in 2014 after the videos came out. How would the person who's looking at that website know that the website had changed prior to the videos coming out? Because otherwise they would look at those images and go, oh, they post-date the videos. That doesn't make any sense, right? Now maybe they're going, oh, website must have changed, and they're able to figure that out too. But then we looked back at the Wayback Machine, and the earliest ones are 2016. And these images don't exist on the Wayback Machine before that either. So I don't know what's going on here, but it's just not adding up. A lot of this is not adding up to me. And this is where my spider sense, my red flags are going off. So I'd like answers and clarity in terms of all this. Like, if these are an elaborate hoax and they were somehow using these images, like, I'd like to understand who that hoaxer is and how they're pulling that off. But right now, it's not adding up to a comprehensive, clear story at the moment.
What is a torrent for those of listening who don't know what a torrent is?
Yeah, so I guess they're still popular, but back in the earlier days of the internet, one of the common ways to pirate information was to put it on, like, basically share it peer to peer, so that I'm a host and I upload content, and then you can download it from me. Napster. This is an easier way to pirate. Yeah, Napster and other places as well. And that you would you go to a torrent site, they'd have everything you want there. From these textures, basically they zip them all up into a file. I don't even know if they zip them, but they put them into a file. These files are huge, like 40 gigabytes or 100 gigabytes, and they're all just images. And so they're like all the textures from a certain website. So I'm not going to name these websites on the air here, but there's a website out there where we look the website name up. We find all the images in a torrent, right? And 2 different torrents from different years, and they're just not there, right? So the idea here being that if these were somehow falsified or fabricated, either that these are real images that have been modified, pulling the clouds from the actual video, or that they were completely fabricated, that, they should be corroborated by a third-party source that's not the person who says they took them, not the website, because the website owner also knows the person who took them for the last 15 years as well. So, we need an independent source that would look into that. And now we haven't found that.
So who in your mind would be so invested in debunking this? Let's just say I'm a guy who watched your interview with us back on November 22nd. And I walked away from that and I said, I don't believe him. That person isn't going through this kind of effort to go and prove you wrong. Who could possibly, I wonder, Brad, any guesses? Zay, maybe you have a guess as to who could be so adamant about making sure that your story is debunked and no one believes it? Anybody want to throw out a guess?
I mean, it's the Alex Jones thing. It's you got to shut the person down. That's why they had to shut Alex Jones down, because he kept nailing it time after time, and people were listening to him and following him, and they're like, the powers that be.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, if you were watching that and you said, I don't believe him, I'm going to go out and I'm going to prove him wrong. I can't wrap my head around who would spend this kind of time trying to disprove Ashton's theory. Now, let's say that
there are people who have way too much time on their hands.
Okay,
that
that's
like
fair.
love to make whole websites and stuff.
And are monetarily invested.
Sure, exactly. Right. And where's that money coming from that keeps them occupied behind a computer as often as they are? That's a whole different story. But let's say you're watching this a couple of weeks ago, or any of the interviews that Ashton has done, and you go, oh my gosh, holy crap, this guy is dangerously close to the truth in this. We have to figure out a way. That seems a lot more plausible. And then you ask, well, wait a minute. Well, again, who would want to cover up the truth if he's that close to it? This thing stinks. And Ashton, God bless you, man. I don't know how you're powering through, but I for one appreciate your persistence in pursuing the truth on this. And now we've got another issue here as to who's behind all of this debunking.
Yeah, I think that, it's hard to not fall into the rabbit hole of the conspiracy angle. And before all of this, like, I wasn't into a lot of conspiracies or the UFO community that much. So it's a challenge from that perspective for me to try to stay as level-headed as I can on it. But what I would say is that, what we're dealing with, if these videos are real, is the largest verifiable conspiracy potentially of all time, and that there would be so much at stake for everyone. People literally have their lives on the line. People will be going to prison potentially for the rest of their lives recovering this type of thing up. The amount of lawsuits against people, just the families against the United States government and the other people that are implicated, the people that have been covering it up, would be in the hundreds of billions, probably, if not to trillions of dollars. So people have literally every reason to try to discredit the case and to try to discredit me in general. And I think it's a good play. If this is, let's just hypothetically play it out in our minds here. Like, if this was an intelligence community move, which they could definitely pull this off, no doubt, in terms of even manipulating the Wayback Machine, making the images appear, modifying images that are already out there, planting them on people's computers, whatever they need to be able to do, then it was a good play. Like, it's a really good play. And this is what I thought about initially, too, is that, if that's what they did, then it's a good play to set somebody up who, maybe this person that took the pictures doesn't even realize that they're being used in this way, right? Where now when they come out, it seems like they have an aura of credibility because, they are essentially a patsy in that scenario. And then for me, it's like, what choice do I have now? Either I have to go ahead and admit that, yes, okay, these images are true, and then discredit myself in that case, or I have to say, oh, here's this scenario that for a lot of people seems unreasonable from a conspiracy perspective, but not from people who are in the conspiracy world, right? They would definitely look at it and go, oh, no, this is totally plausible. But that's the point of the, your Alex Jones comment, right? Is that you try to make them non-reputable. You try to make it seem like they're unstable or something like that, which for the people watching, I have no mental instability issues and no, people try to, diagnose me with fake ailments and things like that, which is pretty disgusting that people do that because, I've actually taken psychology courses in college. I'm very familiar with the DSM-4, which is now the DSM-5. And I'll assure you all that I don't have any issues like that. So
I'm as effed up as a football bat. So speaking for the screwed up people, I mean, it's weird how emotionally invested some of these people have become.
Oh yeah,
that's the weird part to me. I mean, they're totally emotional.
Yeah, emotionally invested in something they have no reason to be invested in at all, right? Like if people tell me the earth is flat or whatever, like I don't care. I don't try to prove them incorrect, right? Like
I want to hear what
or whatever your thing is, right? Yeah, some people say that. For me, it's like great, okay, we'll talk to you later.
So Ashton, the guy whose picture this supposedly is, I just want you to set the record straight. He was approached by someone out of the blue and said, "Hey, check this out. Look at this picture you took." Is that accurate?
Yeah. So that's what they told us, me and Kim.com directly.
Okay.
They said that if it was from a burner email account, something along the lines of, "Sorry, you're involved in this com," or whatever. I won't even say the email name, which is like just really bizarre because it seems like they're trying to get somebody else to come out. And I don't know, I didn't show the exact email. They just paraphrased parts of it as well. So I'm not sure if it said, "Hey, you should make a video about this" or something like that. But it doesn't make sense to me why someone would get an email like that. And then immediately within like an hour, and they're on the record saying that within an hour, they chose to make a debunk video related to that. Which that is not how I would act. So I don't know. I don't want to think the worst of people. Sorry, go ahead.
They weren't even familiar with the video.
Not familiar with the video, not familiar with the case at all. They literally admitted that they weren't to me. They claimed that they hadn't seen the Corridor Cruise videos that are literally about me and about this case, despite having been tracking the Corridor Cruise stuff for the last 15 years. So the more I think about it, again, I don't want to think the worst in people in general, but when somebody goes out and makes a video like that where they're trying to discredit a case they don't know anything about, they're directly of their own volition inserting themselves into the situation. And it's weird because then they claim, "Oh, well, leave me alone. I don't want anything part to do." It's like, what do you mean? You literally went out of your way to put yourself into the middle of it, right? That's just dishonest intent. So, again, and this is not me people try to think I'm trying to make them take down the video. I'm literally just telling them, if you don't want to be involved, then the easiest way is take the video down. And I know the reason why they don't want to take the video down, because it would discredit the debunk. Of course, that's why they don't want to take the video down, right? Because then the debunk goes away. Somebody else now has to do it who doesn't have their name attached to it. The anonymous Reddit account can't do that. They don't have any credibility, right? They don't have a real name attached to it. They wanted to have somebody who has a real name attached to it posting the debunk so that they can tie that to community notes on my posts, etc. So let's just be honest, everybody out there. That's the reason why you guys don't want them to take it down. And of course, I want them to take it down because then they won't be able to use that against me. So if this person has two choices, right? Either they are going to be directly involved and open themselves up to the scrutiny about how and why they found this. Turns out they're a photo manipulation expert who's also a VFX expert. It's amazing how every single person out there who is tied to this is a VFX expert as well. It's never just some random person off the street, right? It's somebody who literally has the skills to manipulate this stuff.
So let me ask you this. Is the best angle now, I guess, is to find the original individual that you believe leaked the MH-370 video that shows the disappearance of the plane. Is that right? That's what we need now, right?
That's a pretty smart conclusion. Yeah. So from my mind, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep going no matter what. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Doesn't really smell right to me, So I'll just keep pressing on, keep building the case higher and higher until we have something definitive, something that's not just here's some pictures that I think are in here. It's like, okay, show me who the hoaxer is. I want to hear somebody come out. I want to hear their motivations for why they made this. I want to know how they were able to get the coordinates to accurately be in the right location. I want to know, why the videos corroborate the real events of the plane better than any story to date. I think that's what we really need, especially because right before this came out, we had already proven the clouds are moving accurately and that the orb was distorting one of the clouds as it passes through it, which rules out a two-dimensional effect being used or background being used. And it almost seems like this was planned before those videos came out. Because again, if to set something up this elaborate, you're not going to do this overnight, right? It's going to take probably weeks. Even if the intelligence community is using all their assets, like you've got to make sure you don't make any mistakes. You got to make sure that the dates that you change are going to be right. So, they would have to set this up beforehand. So it's almost like they panicked because then they saw that we proved that the stuff's moving. Okay, you got to drop this stuff. And now people are just forgetting, wait, just like 2 days ago, we just proved that the clouds are actually moving though. And that they match in both videos. And it's like, and that it would take a 3D render in order to create these different angles that we see, that are perfectly in sync. So, the more I thought about that, I thought, okay, well, I mean, this isn't enough to discredit the videos. It definitely hurts the case. And I think from a lot of perspective, a lot of normal people, they're just going to go, okay, I don't have to pay attention to this, which I don't even mind at this point, right? I don't mind having, I hope the debunkers and what have you move on and do something else instead of this really odd and persistent attacks on me and my character. I think that would actually help. And then I'll just focus on the people that are open-minded that want to get to the answers.
Okay, I have a quick question. I actually want to ask the people watching live right now. I'm going to look at the chat. What is the consensus? Who believes the debunk video? Who believes Ashton?
I can tell you what Danny thinks.
Danny. Well, while you peruse that, and I don't know, I don't know if you can make a poll. I have no idea. But here's a question I have for you, Ashton. I've been thinking about that plane since we spoke on November 22nd, man, and I feel like the answer to all of this really, I think we need to find out what that mystery cargo was specifically, because I think that's honestly the key to all of this, because step one leads to step two and step three. If you wanted to disappear a plane, I'm saying if that's what happened,
don't we know what
the truth of what that was?
Didn't we already know what was in there? The mangostines and the batteries, the stuff from.
We're not sure. So I've talked to Florence Changi about that. She, she's done the Disappearing Act, which goes into highly detailed analysis of her investigation. I think she's probably done more work on groundwork, legwork on than anybody looking into it. Now, her conclusion is that there was something else in there that might be contraband, but not necessarily related to disappearance. So it's possible. There is a GRU, which is, I think, the Russian intelligence network. They put out some kind of, 411 or like APB, whatever you want to call it, claiming that there was some cargo that was important in the plane. But I have never really reported on that just because I couldn't corroborate anything related to it. I like to have, sources and have things that kind of line up when I report on the stuff in general.
You're very thorough.
And yeah, you are absolutely thorough in your stuff, man. Absolutely. And Zay, you ask, what's the I'm seeing a lot of Team Ashton and support for Ashton in the feed here. But here's Vinayak Segal is exactly my line of thinking on this. The fact that they would go through, and then it all scrolled up here. The fact that they would go through these links to debunk your videos prove that they have a lot to hide and a lot to lose. And that is exactly where I am on this issue, man.
Yeah. And again, I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's a weird situation for sure. What I do know is that a lot of the victory laps and stuff don't seem honest either on that. I think I just pulled up the chat as well. I see some people's names in this chat that are definitely Redditors who are debunkers who are emotionally invested.
Probably following you around everywhere.
Oh, they definitely do. They definitely do. And some of them, it's funny because they have fake subject matter expert tags that they like to wear around, which is like, God, that really gives away their intent, right? Like, Imagine thinking any of these people are subject matter experts on anything, let alone MH-370. It's
well, one of
pretty
them's at
embarrassing.
Mensa. One of it, well, because I was watching.
Oh, you were watching that
with,
shit
with Mensa, Ethan. I think it was.
I don't want to hate. I don't want to hate on people.
No, I'm not hating. But you had good advice. Don't ever tell anybody again that you're in Mensa.
Yeah, that's not a. It's not a thing to brag about, guys.
No, you don't want to.
So,
brag about that.
Ashton, people that are watching this, people who believe you and believe that something incomprehensible happened to MH370. Yeah. How can they help you and support you, like in getting to the truth? Is there something specific that you would request of people who are trying to get to the truth like you?
I think that it's going to naturally come out here. I'm not sure how much I want to talk about in certain emails that I've gotten, but especially after this stuff has happened. Got some pretty interesting emails in general from people that want to talk, that generally believe in the evidence of the case. I've also gotten ones though too where I've gotten things on both sides where it's like I feel like one way or another we're going to figure out what's going on with the videos, with the plane. But I've got people saying that, I think I can say some of this stuff where they're saying like, oh, we can prove that these were modified. The videos were modified to show what, hide whatever really happened to the plane. I've got other people saying that, they totally believe the narrative that I've put forth and that, they want to talk about some of that as well. And I've got one very, very interesting email about where we might have a strong lead to figure out information about either the theoretical hoaxer or person that posted this video and where they might have got it from. So there's a lot of stuff out there where I don't know. I've got to verify a lot of this, and I'm not sure, how much I can believe at face value. But I do feel strongly that we'll get something done. And like you, go ahead, jump on it.
No. I'm just saying that it's just I'm seeing some comments here and there, saying that they don't believe you and that this. I don't know. Martin says grifter. Now let me ask you this.
I know that person. So interestingly enough,
great.
Martin is actually somebody who has been. He was actually part of MH370 early on. And unfortunately, we had to break away from him because he's got some personal issues and instability issues that are out there. And I feel bad because I don't like how these people get so obsessed with being tied to the case.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just pointing that out, and then I just wanted to say that in my 3 hours of talking to you on the air, and the time that we've chatted off the air, at no point have I gotten the impression that you're a grifter or that you're selling anything, or I'm literally the one telling people that, hey, it's at Just X Ashton. It's on Twitter and it's on YouTube. That much I know. I'm not hearing, hey, go buy my MH370 stuff. Well, although, by the way, I'm going to have Brad's going to make me a poster. I'm going to totally hang.
I'm going to sell shirts, just so you know. I hope that doesn't offend anybody, but I realized I put the two X files together with this. And I'm like, oh, I want one anyway. So
Brad, I'm your first customer, bro.
But Ashton, I wish I could sell out and make some money and be a grifter on it. It'd be funny. It's funny that people that believe in all these UAP big names out there that are selling books and telling people to go look for buried craft and wait till the big announcement the next day or whatever, all this stuff. They don't have any problem with any of these people, right? But I'm just literally out here telling people everything I know as open as possible on every podcast I can. And for some reason, that just highly offends people. Like, in what sense do people think
I'm making a lot of money?
No. So, and I think somebody asked me the other day. So, we've had hundreds of millions of impressions, or over 100 million impressions on Twitter in the last few months. I think the total amount I've been paid from that is about $500, which isn't nothing. But I've attempted to give most of that back to the investigators who've stuck with and put in a lot of the work, mostly through Amazon gift cards. And then related to YouTube, so far, I've actually collected $0. I'm in the process of verifying my account related to that. People have donated through what's it called, super chats. That I tell people during the beginning of every stream, please, if you need your money, do not donate it to me. I want you to have that money more than me, for sure. But if people do, a lot of people just feel straight compelled to help the cause for whatever reasons. And, I have put that into, get a new camera to upgrade the quality of the content, as well as, emailing and printing out all the letters that I sent to Congress and everything else related to the case. Overall, I'm not up any amount of money at all. And I'm not trying to do this for money, but what I will say, to be perfectly transparent, is if I were to theoretically lose my security clearance or lose my job for whatever reason, then it would be nice to have something to fall back to. A lot of people have told me that, I would make a good podcaster just because of being able to talk to people naturally and stuff like that. But it's not really my calling, in my opinion.
So, are you having a good time doing this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer there is, like, I couldn't be happier with the people that I've met and stuff like that. I mean, it's incredible, the people I've talked to. I've kept a lot of it close to my chest as well. But I think people would be surprised with the people that I've talked to behind closed doors. And the podcasters I've talked to, I think it was really fun to talk to Alex Jones, somebody that I never thought in my life I would ever talk to.
Right.
And I don't think we necessarily even see eye to eye on everything. But again, like, one thing I've learned from this case is that I'm not going to ever judge anybody ahead of time. Like, yesterday, I was in a space just randomly with Jesse Michaels and Martin Shkreli, who is I don't even want to call him by the pejorative name that people call him, because again, I just want to judge people based on my interactions with them.
Drug?
Yeah, the person that was famous for supposedly trying to rip people off and jacking the prices up. But the reality too is that everybody does that. The companies, the drug companies do that as well, right? And so it makes me wonder about how much of this stuff is narrative driven, the same way people are trying to make these fake narratives about me, right? And so that's why, like, I've just kind of decided to have a completely open mind about it. But yeah, getting connections with all these people is absolutely incredible. I couldn't be more happy with having these connections, and I hope it leads to big things in the future for, the disclosure in general, trying to push the narrative forward in terms of what really true disclosure actually means, and not just, oh, here's some flying saucers, stuff like that.
Well, and sorry, go ahead, Keith.
No, I just want to ask real quick here, and I don't want you to reveal names or anything like that. But I'm just curious, in the letters that you've sent to Congress, have you gotten a response either from a United States representative, a senator, any kind of government representative that is showing interest in this?
I haven't got a direct response, but I have had people back channel me to conversations with people's staff, is what I can say.
Okay.
So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. Like, I put myself in their shoes and I say, wow, this is A, hard to believe. B, this is scary if it's true. Like, okay, now it can be dangerous for people to get involved with this, right? And so I can see why they might be skeptical. And if that is the case, and even if somehow these videos were proven to be hoaxes by somebody, then I would still hope that the advice that I would give them is that is going to push the conversation forward, which is move away from UAP hearings and move into conspiracy hearings. These companies like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Bigelow Aerospace, Battelle Institute, I'm sure there's more that I should be listing as well. They're not doing nothing with the billions and billions of dollars that they're being given while they're not producing commercial products, right? There's something going on there. I personally believe that there must be some type of advanced technology that's being kept hidden there. And that's what we should be digging into. It may be very difficult, but that's something that people can believe and rally behind. I think that a lot of people have a difficult time accepting the idea of aliens. Let's just say it straight up, aliens, as well as the idea of even flying saucers, UAPs. And when we put it under that narrative, it's easy to be discredited. If you put it under the narrative of this advanced technology is being hidden for national defense purposes, and that, we've gone far beyond splitting the atom 80 years ago, and now where are we really at? That's something I think people can get behind. Quantum mechanics, precisely.
That's the thing, is that this to me is more of a science issue. It's not about UFOs at all. I mean, we got a Pentagon that has lost $1 trillion. I mean, something goofy, with a lot of zeros after the first digit. And where's all that money going? Yeah. They're either really horrible accountants, they're burning it, they're a lot of hookers and blow, or they're actually making something that is. And this wouldn't surprise me if this is the project they were working on, which I don't think is all that mysterious, quite frankly.
No, yeah. I mean, I think that, Lockheed Martin Skunkworks, Ben Rich saying we have the technology to take ET home. Well, are we looking at it in the 2 videos of the highest quality video cameras the United States government has in 2014, right? Like, I thought that statement might be silly, but now I just wonder, this is what, again, I've been saying this for the last few days as well, is that, if you're somebody out there that believes that aliens are visiting us, what you think they're doing that in their generation ships for 40 years at the speed of light from Zeta Reticuli, or, realize that the closest star is Alpha Centauri. That's 4 light years away, so if they can't reduce mass to 0 and go the speed of light or beyond, how the heck are they getting here? Right. And I think people need to be thinking a little bit more outside the box on that. Like, I truly believe that the science in these videos is real. And that, yes, it's very scary, breaks a lot of people's minds to think that, we're actually just cave people. We're not really in the Renaissance era of knowing everything there is to know about science, right? But we need to have that conversation, and we need to wake up as many people as possible.
So what's next for you on this adventure that you're on?
A movie? You're going to do a movie, aren't you?
You're going to grip something?
Well, what can I grip? No, I don't even want to write a book. I don't want to. I would love for there to be a documentary made, but the reality is I don't want it to be about me. I don't think it should be. I think that the people that would be interested in making it would want it to be about me, because to me, there's 2 stories here. One is the reality and the truth of what happened to MH-370, which have nothing to do with me at all. And then, other than maybe the evidence that I've helped put forth, but the other one would be about the story of the case, right? That this case, I mean, look how divided people are. This is a crazy story. Some people are just messaging, like, posting replies like, I'm just following this for the next twist and turn that might come up, right? And so I can't disagree that that's a very, compelling story in general. But, I think those 2 things would be kept separate. And I would really want to get an answer from the U.S. government before any of that stuff happens, just because, again, I'm not trying to do this for money at all. I have another job that I actually really like my other job. And
do they know? Did your coworkers and your bosses know that you're on this?
I think a couple people actually, they definitely do. Surprisingly, I haven't been recognized in public yet. Although people have messaged me and said, "I heard about someone talking about your name and the MH-370 videos, what have you." Yeah, I mean, the thing that scares me more than even the government is like some of the
there are crazy people out there.
The psychopaths, especially some of the ones that might be in the chat right now, but the ones that are like obsessed with hating me and think that I'm like an evil person, like these are the people I'm afraid of, right? I'm not afraid necessarily of the government, but the people that they are just completely obsessed with me, and they like think I'm the evilest person on the planet for what? Just trying to get to the truth. Like,
some people are dicks, man.
Yeah, right.
Or because I blocked them on Twitter. Like, guys, try to act like an adult. Like, if I see you condescending me on Twitter, yes, I'm just blocking you because I don't want to put up with you, right? I don't have the time for it.
And see, you believe this, and so if you're right, then you have every reason. And I'm not saying this facetiously. If you're right, you have every reason to continually look over your shoulder. So I'm telling you, please do be careful, my friend.
Yeah,
I told you the same thing, Ashton, didn't I? For when we first talked.
A lot of people tell me that, guys. And what I want to say in response is that I'm not afraid of anything or anyone or anything happening to me. Reality is I don't even own a firearm. People might be surprised by that.
Don't announce that, please.
No, again, I'm not afraid of anything like that. Just the reality is that I don't want to live my life in fear. I choose not to. And again, I don't think that the government is going to do something like that. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to use people to try to form a fake narrative. And even if they do, so what? I don't care. One thing I've realized, especially on Twitter, is that people see through that stuff immediately. The people that have what I like to call Reddit brain, right? Those are the people that can't understand what real people are like, because they live in a mental prison of their own making, where they don't see what real people talk to. They think that everybody's like their other fellow Redditors are. And that's why they get so surprised when they see real people, right? And that's why they'll say, "Oh, Twitter's the worst. Twitter's toxic." Twitter's just real people, right? That's the difference between social Twitter right now versus the rest of social media. It's not controlled fully by the government. So yeah, I think that whatever comes, and we're going to keep going with this until we get the answers that we need. If the videos are fake, there's no reason why the U.S. government can't make a claim, right? The videos are fake. They've done this for other stuff in the past. Like, oh, nope, there's this stuff going on social media. Nope, that's not our MQ-1C Gray Eagle classified drone. Nope, that's not our Sibers video, right? Like, I would love if they would come out and make some kind of claim like that, because we've got so much evidence, we'd be able to try to corroborate or prove it false.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
All of like the debunking stuff, and you're saying people are, I guess, almost attacking you on social media. Do you think like the debunking video has changed people's minds so much that they think you're no longer credible?
No. People that most of the people had already had their minds made up, right? The people that I think were already convinced that the videos were fake just wanted to do it to boost their own egos, right? Confirmation bias. Oh yeah, it's fake. Move away from this. Like this idea of like, oh, we have to move on from this. Move on to what, man? Here, I'm gonna spoil it for you guys. There's no UAP disclosure ever coming. You're holding your breath for something that's never going to come.
I will
like
say
I've been saying this for a while. Like this bill was never going to get through. These contractors are never going to freely give up this information. The U.S. government is classifying it because it's national defense reasons. What that means is they're trying to use it as a strategic advantage over countries like China, Russia, North Korea, any adversaries, right? That means they're not going to freely give it up.
It's because they love us.
Yeah.
It's because they love us and they want us to be safe.
I will say that the comments on our last conversation, the previous one to this, the this has been debunked or this is fake. Those comments have been flowing in earnest in the last week or so, as opposed to the first week or so. And it's okay.
Wait a minute.
So I don't know. I don't know that people's mind. I don't know. Maybe people's minds are being changed against.
I'm seeing some comments on the chat right now. Like someone just said, "I started off thinking the video was real, but now I believe it's fake."
Great. And I would say, well, if they think it's fake, why are they here? Right? Why have they not moved on? I mean, nobody's stopping you from moving on. I'd put your effort into whatever you think is better. Honestly, I don't care at all. Like people think that I'm in this for followers or whatever. I'm absolutely not. I'm just in this for the truth. I don't care how many followers I have or how many people are out there that are believe in it or whatever. What I will say is my followers haven't gone down. That's for sure. So
and I would be if I were you, I'd be frustrated putting in all the work and then along comes this theory, whatever it is with dude in the clouds, which I mean, I don't know that the videos are real. I don't know that they're not real. I don't know if this dude took pictures of the clouds. I don't know that he didn't because I wasn't at any of these places when they happened. But it's fascinating to me that you've had all of this work and all of these facts, and they come through with basically a dude, like you said, with the burner account that just happened to see. And by the way, I just found this over here. And
look over here.
Yeah, it was just a lot of it was over here.
That's
and
the
he
thing.
took them years ago. It's nothing solid. It's not a timestamp. It's no solid evidence. It's just really, really strong emotional opinion. Whereas you brought facts and figures.
And they know that too, right? That's why they're so emotionally invested and want it to go away, is that they know in the back of their minds it doesn't hold up to scrutiny, right? And then they, even if I was the one presenting that evidence as evidence of being it true, they would be attacking it probably 10 times as hard as we're attacking it from this perspective. So it's mostly just like dishonest intent that's out there. And that's why people, of course, the detractors are not going to stop. They're going to keep attacking me, of course. They're not going to move on. Let's just be honest with everybody else, right? And that's fine too. You know, the more that they talk about me, the more people find out about the case, the more people will come and look at the evidence, and the more people will get swayed. So I don't mind it.
So I can't recall his name. I think it was
Bob.
The airman that you think is the original leaker back in 2014. Is this
Edward Seelin?
Thank you, Edward Seelin.
Yeah.
So do we assume, and now I'm going to ask you to just assume things, do we assume that he is going under a different name now? Because if you haven't seen the original video, Ashton thinks you pieced together magnificently the theory that this guy leaked the video online, ended up getting busted, served time, and was only recently released, I think. Anyway, do we know if this guy, and I'm not asking for doxing or anything like that, but do we think he's out there under a different name now?
He's out there somewhere, and I've contacted him. So just to clarify, some people that have false information about the case as well. He was part of the VPU2 Wizards. He was assigned February 2014 He was reassigned March 25th, 2014, just 2 weeks after this plane goes missing. The investigation began April 2nd, 2014. This is a quote from his lawyer. He was caught with flight manifest from a search and rescue in May of 2014, even though the next assignment after March 25th, 2014 was the brig. So they essentially were just investigating this guy while he was on the bench, right? And then they wait to arrest him. Potentially they wait to arrest him so that people can't tie it to the plane, right? If you arrest this guy in May of 2014, people are going to figure out right away that this was tied to the missing plane. The defense said the classified information questions available on the internet, he needs to be compelled as a whistleblower to come forward. And essentially, you know, he could authenticate the videos regardless of any debunks, right?
So
yeah, go ahead.
Just forgive me. When did you speak with him?
No, I did not directly speak to him, but we have been able to figure out that he's out of prison and other information about him. I think I have gone on the record to state that I did call a phone number that was linked to him.
Yes.
And somebody picked up and hung up right away. And then I did send text messages to that phone number in support of them. Because the reality is that my followers, if this person were to come out, this would become national news. My followers would, some people, my followers are connected. They have money. Like we could defend this guy, right? This bigger thing, I think, is the psychological state he would be in, having ignored the videos for this long, potentially been convinced by the NCIS and the FBI that what he did damage national security because he's a patriot, right? A lot of people look at these, not just the videos, but the technology, and they say, oh, yes, we need to keep this hidden, right? Even Jesse Michaels was talking about it yesterday, and he revealed that we had private conversations as well where, you know, we talked about what the implications are of this being real. Like, is it even, if this technology is real, he's like, I almost want to keep it secret, right? I want us to have it, and I don't really want us to destroy the planet. I don't want to be responsible for the destruction of the planet, but the flip side is, like, I don't want there to be millions of homeless people that have nothing on this planet where their psychological state gets deteriorated because they're living on the streets, where we could have free energy, where we could, you know, get rid of scarcity to a lot of degree for a lot of people. And that's really, I think, part of what keeps me going. The other part of it, what keeps me going, is everybody who's supported me, right? The people that are out there saying, keep going, man.
Yeah. How much time did Seelan serve
Edward
behind
Seelan?
bars?
Yeah, 6 years. He had a 9-year sentence. We actually found his appeal.
Right.
And in his appeal, they had people testify in his case stating why what he did damaged national security so much. And probably because, like, if you think about it, if it's just these videos, like, you would have to explain why this is so damaging, right? And then he also argued that the sentence he got was far outweighs what other people got for similar crimes, which to me really indicates that it had to be the videos. And one of the statutes that he was charged under actually could be linked to videos as well. Like, one of the reasons it's like documentation, videos, or whatever. It's like, okay, wow.
I think that's the guy. I mean, I think that's your guy.
How could it not be the guy?
And then 6 years behind bars in a government facility. I can't imagine what kind of, like you said, I can't imagine what kind of MK Ultra themed processes were enacted on him.
Kill him though.
Well, I mean, because I think that's not, I mean, and so this is where I disagree with a lot of this conspiracy community, is that's not what they do. I don't think is that when you try to kill people and stuff like that, it leaves too many loose ends, man. Somebody's got to do the gig. You know, people are going to be asking a lot of questions about it. The real move is you either try to discredit people in the eyes of the public, and we see this time and time again. This is how they control information, right? You know, whatever, pick your favorite conspiracy. If you want to think of what's been going on in the last few years as well. You know, the people that come out against current events, they get discredited. With respect to military people that have NDAs, you know, even David Grush, I mean, this guy went in front of Congress and said, we've got alien bodies and we've got UFOs. And then they find some psychological thingamajig about him, right, that gets dug up, right? So what they do is that they focus on discrediting people instead. And then that way the stuff just goes away, right? And then for him, you flip him. You say, hey, man, you're on our side now. Like, you're not going to come out against this stuff, right? And that's where I would plead to him and say, please, man, you are a hero that we need. Like, we need someone to actually take the sacrifice that you made to release the videos. And you did that. And I'm sorry that we did not know for 6 years. We couldn't get you out of prison ahead of time. I wish so badly that we had realized this in 2019 when he was doing his appeal, where we could fight on his behalf and get him out. But it didn't happen, man. And so now again, we need somebody else to take another sacrifice. And one of those things you could do is go to the ICIG, which is the Intelligence Community Attorney Inspector General, right, and apply for whistleblower status. I think this is similar to what David Grush did, but there's a huge risk because of his plea deal. I don't know what the stipulations are in that.
Have you thought, if hypothetically, have you played this out in your mind, if a representative from the U.S. government came to you and said, "Look, you got us. You're on the case, man. You know what? But we need you to stop in the name of national security. We'll tell you. We'll explain everything that we have, but we need you to just be a patriot, right? Keep your mouth closed." Have you even entertained how you would respond to that?
Yeah, I think about that probably every single day, to be honest with you. And just to be perfectly honest, I probably would take it, depending on what they would offer me. If you want to bring me on the inside, just because like the reality is, I talking to Jesse Michaels, I think I agree with him in terms of this technology is that dangerous. I think that making sure that other countries don't have this technology is really important as well. And then from the perspective of, I don't think the world's ready for it. That's just my true opinion. I think there's a lot of people who are, but the percentage wise, and I think you probably see a lot of them in the chat even right now as well, where their minds haven't gotten to the level, they haven't risen to the level of consciousness to realize that a lot of what we're told is not real, is fake, and that there's much more to what we've been told is not necessarily the truth, but also there's more to this world than what people think, because if this type of technology is real, it does really imply that we're in the holographic principle, some type of construct of sorts, which would then implicate there being a creator. Even just the idea that we might have a creator is going to break the minds of about half the people on the planet, right? Or at least in this country, probably elsewhere as well, depending on how religious people are. What I've come to realize is that generally people that are religious have an easier idea with a lot of this stuff being real, which is not what you would logically think from this idea of scientific progress. But that's where I've also had to reevaluate my own biases and opinions. So that's the part where I'm like, okay, if this is going to break this many people's minds, maybe the government's right to have a slow drip disclosure plan and a long-term acclimation process. But the reality is I want to be brought in on the inside. You got to bring me in, because I don't want to live my life with this. And I don't care if people hate me and vilify me or whatever, for whatever reason. And if that doesn't happen, then I think my plan is to continue to try to push the conversation forward. And maybe that's what they want me to do. Maybe I'm being used without even knowing it, right? And to try to ensure that the science gets out there and gets verified and validated, which will show that a lot of the stuff that we're seeing there is possible.
All right, man. Well, do we have any marching orders, anything you need from those watching, or anything that you would like us to do to help get to the bottom of the truth here?
No. I mean, I think that, you guys are already doing everything. I appreciate you having me on here, so, if I don't know what's going to come next, I don't see the future. I just do things, like what the Joker would say in the Batman movie. I don't have schemes or plans. I just do whatever I think comes to mind that will help push the case forward on any given day. And I think that if, people want to keep following the case, keep following the case. If you think that, there's nothing here and you want to focus your effort elsewhere, I go for it. That's always been an option, to quote Rick and Morty. You could always leave anytime you wanted.
Yeah.
I want to believe. I want to believe.
Man. I'm with you, Brad. Any questions, Brad, Zeynep, before we part?
I just hope that Danny goes home and has like a hot toddy or warm glass of wine or something, just to get his blood pressure down.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
it's amazing how upset people get. Like, that's the part of it too, where it's like, when talking about breaking people's minds, like, people get viscerally angry at the idea that, like, maybe they don't know everything, right? Where it's like, wow. And I listen to a lot of these spaces out there and stuff, enjoying them, and just the emotional reaction is like middle school stuff, right? Like, I think that we got to get ourselves up to a higher level. I mean, it's entertaining. I like to listen to it just because it's wild. Even when people are raging on me, I'm just like, wow, how to make this person so mad? Like, oh, you get this mad for just getting blocked on Twitter? Like, wow, okay, you can really get set off easily. But yeah, no, I just think that I would want everybody out there to, anyone who has an open mind, to try to push the information forward. Let's get the truth to what happened to MH-370. If it's that somebody made an elaborate hoax video, well, okay, why? Where's the plane? Right? Where's the plane? Why did we not find a plane for 10 years? Right? And, you know, if it's not that, if the videos are real, then let's get the government to tell us the truth. Let's push and get them to make a statement about the videos. That's the next step. If we get them to make a statement, I'm guessing they're not allowed to lie about it. And then they would have to say that we can't confirm or deny something, which will then we'll know it's the truth. Right? And this is probably why they would be so desperate to say nothing.
Do you really think the government's going to say anything, though?
No, I don't necessarily think that they will, but I think that if they can't, it's a situation where we can get enough people. You know, I think we already have shown that we can do this to get enough people to realize that whatever the official narrative out there is not true. We've proven they have satellites in the regions. We've got the Malaysian Minister of Defense saying that, yes, there's satellites in the regions and we're in contact with them. So they obviously know more about this plane than they've let on to. So if these videos are fake, then why do they have to hide that? What explanation is there for hiding that they watched the plane, right? Why did Edward C. Lynn go to prison? What exactly could he be revealed as such high national security that they won't even release redacted FOIA documents on his case to me, right? So again, this is why we push
something
forward.
like that. You would think would at least make it on the news, right? Maybe a little blip. A guy goes to prison for that.
The mainstream media is not going to report on that stuff.
Yeah.
Boeing just got a new deal. I sent Ashton the piece on it from would they just get how many billion-dollar contract did they just get from the Pentagon? Yeah, just got a multi-billion-dollar contract.
Of course.
Even though they lost $1.6 billion last quarter. So money makes the world go round.
And no, Brad, just to clarify my point, I'm saying if it wasn't something this insane sounding, that would at least.
But it's not even that really insane.
Is it more insane than some family seeing aliens in their backyard in Las Vegas?
Right.
It's like, come on, like, really?
All right.
It's not that it's insane. It's that it's a cover up, right? What they're afraid of it is real, because if it's real, now that means the government is lying at big time and people have a lot to lose. That's the real story, right?
I really hope that you will keep in touch with us on this
course.
Anytime you have a development or something you want to share.
Because if you don't, we'll chase you.
Yeah, we'll just text you until.
I have a feeling that this, I thought, well, maybe I won't have to do as many podcasts if this stuff is like, if people really think it's been debunked. But I have a feeling that that's not going to change at all. I have a feeling that the requests are going to be just as many as there was before.
Yeah, I want to be on the record as saying, I feel bad when I reach out to you and say, hey, do you want to talk for have you written up how many of these conversations you've had with people?
I think it's like 50 or more at this point, which is wild because I've only been doing them for like 2.5 months. It's one every day, essentially. In the spaces. I was actually going to post that, but it's so long. Like, I think it's like 2 or 3 tweets at least of just links to all the appearances, and people want me to. So I'll probably try to do that tonight for people, just because people want to catch up. I mean, I can't believe that people want to watch every single one that's out there, but it's if so, I'm glad that they enjoy it. That's the reason why I'm doing it. And that's the reason why I tell people that, you can actually follow along the investigation and the case as it's kind of moved along. And it will also protect me too. So people are like, oh, are you afraid of getting sued or whatever? It's like, well, I've got 50 podcasts to tell you exactly my opinions as they've evolved and the evidence as it's evolved throughout the whole case. So do I sound afraid of going to a court? No, absolutely not. I think if you put me in front of a jury, I'm going to be able to convince them.
Well, here's the funny thing too. Speaking of money, just real quick, one last point.
Sure.
Because when we were putting these T-shirts together, Ron, a producer, he says, "Should we be concerned about using the images?" I said, "No, no one will claim them.
No one's going to claim them." Exactly.
The beauty of it.
That's the beauty. If they do, it's like, oh, we can authenticate something. We can figure it out.
Exactly.
Right?
That was half of the reason I did it. Is I thought, well, and who knows, we'll probably sell 10 shirts, but if it starts making a lot of, you can bet your ass somebody's going to come out of the woodwork going, that was me.
And so I have a funny joke on that too, because I would say early on is that if this story is fake, then I guess I own the copyright to the greatest fake story of all time, right? So if I start making millions off of it, somebody comes, wait, no, those are my fake videos. I made this story up, right? Like, okay, well, and it's funny that hasn't happened, right? And I don't think any hoaxer is ever coming forward either. I think that's just not going to happen. People have their own magical reasons for why they think a person wouldn't want to come forward and take $150,000 and get a job at the best VFX studio that anyone that they want. Essentially, it's like, they wouldn't want the $150,000. I was like, sure, man, okay, yeah, whatever.
Beats me.
All right, brother. We'll keep in touch.
Yeah.
Let us know how we can help. And like I said, if any developments come along, holla.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Ashton
Thanks,
Forbes
Ashton.
at JustX Ashton. Twitter, YouTube, pretty much anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Are we staying on after Ashton leaves and we're going to talk about him?
Yeah, let's totally talk about him behind his back.
Okay.
Oh wait, he's still here. Crap.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's
I'll cut you loose here, Ashton.
Okay. Take it easy, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks a lot.
you. Thanks,
See ya.
buddy. Bye-bye. Okay, so
I like him. I
thoughts?
just like him. I think
mean,
he's
Wait,
a
we're
good
still
guy.
live.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
we're still live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad you caught that. Where you said something you didn't want to say. Yeah, we're totally still live. I haven't had a chance to really follow much on the chat here.
Oh, I was kind of looking the entire time.
Oh my gosh, hang on a second.
Z
lot of
has
people-
a few
I was-
admirers.
I was just about to say you got a lot of people you got to reach out to after this conversation.
You're
Zay,
never going to be lonely.
do you want to put either of y'all on the spot after that conversation, or should I just let it go?
Huh?
I mean, I can say what I think, but I don't want to be mean.
Okay, no, please, and don't forget, Zay, we're still streaming right now. By the way, I just want to point
That's
that
why
out.
I don't want to say what I think.
Well, then
You-
it's up
so
to
you. Don't believe in this. You think the videos are. Let's see.
He's gonna
think
put
the
you. He's gonna put you on the spot.
No. Do you think that they are and do you think they're VFX videos that were done with CG 12 years ago or 10 years, whatever it was? Do you think that somebody VFX experts put those together? That's your opinion?
I have a couple of things to say about this. One, I do think technology then and now is actually in reality far more advanced than what we're being shown.
Mhm.
So there is
The possibility
I'm pretty sure,
exists.
yeah, it's a huge possibility that the videos are absolutely real.
Mhm.
I think the problem here is, and I'm sorry if he sees this afterwards, I think a big problem might be Ashton's personality that might be turning a lot of people off to this. It certainly turned me off.
Which part? Well, how come? Why? I'm curious.
He kept talking about himself all the time, more than just actual stuff about like the videos. He was talking about they're attacking me and like me. And I think that might be turning a lot of people off to actually believing the videos. Even if they were to actually believe it, I think the way it's being presented might be a little
I didn't pick
annoying.
up on that personally.
Well, no, I can see what you're saying, but I would also at the same time say that he is the face of the thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
people are pushing on
people
me.
need a
I'm going to push
target,
back.
and he does get upset, and I saw him get upset at a few people in his thing last night. Which, I mean, that's the weird thing is people will punch at him, and I think he's reacting to those people. I like to laugh at them. There's a couple people that get on my nerves, though. You know, in my own circle of whatever, that get under my skin and make me want to say bad things. So maybe that's the same way Ashton is, but I think to me, he seems like he just punches back after he gets punched. I don't know, but I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think he comes across as genuine. But and if people were some of the stuff that he's having to deal with, I would personally react the same way. So, but I mean, I can understand your point to a degree, but you know, I think that like you said, Brad, he's the face of this.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
people are coming after him.
who are you going to reach out and slap? What does rotary motion mean? There's a nasty has a black ghost over it.
I don't know what. There's a
That's in the
ghost.
chat?
Nasty.
Okay.
The chat has a black ghost over it.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what I was asking.
That sounds like another episode we need to do.
Right? You don't get arrested for a hoax video. Is Ashton being MK Ultra'd?
No, I think that already happened to Edward Sealand. I think they did that for 6 years to him. Okay. Well, it's an interesting conversation, and I'm sure there'll be further developments as we move along here. And I will be interested in documenting them all along the way. You know, if he can reach out to us whenever something happens, because I think this is going to go on for a while. y'all.
I do too, because I don't think that the debunk is a real debunk. It's a lot of, well, this random dude told me, and then there's pictures. Here's the pictures. I mean, to be honest, Ashton is not saying these are real and that's the end of the story. He's saying this is the evidence I have to back up that these videos are real. The satellites and the coordinates and the this and the that and the
let me ask Zay a quick question here. If
Sure.
take any kind of reaction to how Ashton presented in your opinion. Now let's not talk about him at all. Let's just talk about the videos and the evidence. What are your thoughts on that? May I ask? Where are you on that?
Okay. Admittedly, I have not seen like the debunk video or anything. If it like just came out, I have not really been online the past week. I've been super
You've been
busy.
traveling, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
been
about
traveling
your travels
and,
lately.
like working and stuff. But I certainly believe in aliens. I believe in interdimensional travel. I believe in time travel. I believe in like time dilation and all of that stuff. So yeah, I do think that the plane went to a different dimension. That's what I think.
Okay.
At least that's maybe what I want to think. I'm not sure. But I do think Ashton makes a very compelling argument for this. So that's my stance on it. Overall, yeah, I believe it. But with everything, I can't say I'm 100% sure about anything.
I saw David Copperfield make a Learjet disappear.
Hell yeah.
Oh no, here we go.
What? He
did.
did
You do that before or after the Statue of Liberty?
I think it was after, wasn't it?
I don't know.
And
we weren't supposed to respond to that question directly.
Just saying.
Okay.
I want to believe. I really want to believe until somebody showed me.
Me too.
I'm just looking at it. And I was serious, and there was somebody in the chat. Duality says I'm one of those so-called flat earthers, and I wasn't disparaging. I disparage everybody, but if you've got evidence, I would love to see more of the evidence. I will literally listen to a flat earther explain their theory to me. Why not? You learn more by listening than you do by yelling at people.
That's true.
Boy,
I did listen to a flat earther try to explain it to me though, and I'm not convinced. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm not a flat earther. I tried. I really wanted to be, but it didn't work.
Too. I tried.
I'm on Team Globe. I'm on Team Globe, just to be
Team Globe.
But,
yeah, okay.
But if you got evidence that shows that we're on a flat thing, then I'm.
You know what? I guarantee you, there's more than a handful of people in this chat right now who believe that the Earth is flat. And here's my question. Okay, and this is I haven't got a satisfactory answer on this. If the Earth is flat, right, and they say there's a local sun. You with me so far, right? So then we've got. Man, I need a globe, or a pancake.
Did you say a local sun?
Yeah, that's what they call it, a local sun.
I didn't know that. No, I didn't.
So it's close by,
okay.
And so they say that the Zay, have you heard that where the ice is like in a ring, and then on the other side of the ice are all these other continents that are green and whatever, right?
You mean Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And so they're blocking access.
The ice shelf,
right? Thank you. Okay. So my question is, if the sun is that close, then how is it that it's green where we are, then it's ice, then it's green again? That's all I haven't had a satisfactory answer, because if the sun is right there,
extra freon in the ice.
Don't know. So maybe there's an answer somewhere in here.
I don't know. I'm on Team Globe.
Team Globe.
Till somebody convinces me otherwise.
All right.
Even if not a globe, maybe. No, I don't know.
Yeah, you can't. You can't get there. Can't get there. All right, kids. I appreciate everybody making time today, and interesting as always, right?
Right.
Boy, there's so much that we just do not know, and that pisses me off more than anything is when I don't understand something. Especially when I think it's being purposefully kept from me, which
that's just it. We all know the government lies. I mean, they do it every day, and they're never going to come out and make an announcement or admit any of this in
Zay,
a million years.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely not. Do you have any interest in sharing your geographical location tonight or tomorrow or wherever?
I don't share my location until after I leave it.
That's smart. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So yep.
Where I am is an absolute mystery. You'll never know, ever. No. Well, you know, but no one else does.
Kiribati. That's where you're at. It's an island in the Pacific.
Yes.
It's already tomorrow there. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Well, I appreciate y'all making time for us, and thank you to everybody that tuned in and joined the chat, even if you had mean things to say. But anyway. Okay. I'm just trying to.
Sounds like a lot of fun at parties. That's all I'm gonna say.
Everybody keeps talking about Danny. Let's see. Nope.
Who's Danny?
Danny's been over the chat. He just really does not like. He rubs. Ashton rubs him the wrong way too. So.
Okay.
And that's I've been told that I can rub people the wrong way. I know it's hard to believe.
Wait, I see. Yeah,
but
I see. I'm scrolling through here. Yeah, I do see a lot of Danny
Anima.
Franklin. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Hey, Danny, how you doing there? I just wonder if, because just judging on based on how many entries I'm seeing here from Danny, I just wonder, is the keyboard, does it got the little click clack kind, or is it got the smooth cover? So like, can you hear the or is it more casual, low key typing? All right, I think Zay needs to go to bed because Kiribati, it's like already 5 a.m. Yeah. All right. Yes. I appreciate y'all joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya. All right. I have ended